Hello everyone and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I have a birthday card to share with you, which was my entry for the My Favorite Things Clean and Simple Genius category from the annual card design superstar contest of 2023. And I am featuring the happy birthday to my favorite Gnomie. This is one of my latest purchases and my favorite things. I also use it for another entry, but that one will come somewhere after this one on YouTube. I took this gnome with the balloon and I actually masked off the balloon. I want to enlarge that particular part of my image with a dye, and so I masked it off with some purple tape, stamped it multiple times, and of course there are a few elements that are a bit showing from the balloon, but I'm just fixing that with a white Doodle pen. You can barely see it afterwards. So I did that. I also heat set it because I'm going to color the image in with some Copic markers, and I didn't want my ink to run out because it was just still too wet. So therefore, if you're unsure, you can always heat set your images that you're going to color. Now the coloring is really simple since we just have this tiny image to color in, and I didn't have the balloon to color in, so that already limits the amount of effort to put into it. Just the masking off of the balloon took me a bit of time, but even that went quite quickly. So for the beard here, I just added a bit of shadowing, and then I used my colorless blender to sort of push that color back in and just smooth the edges a bit more. And then I went to the skin tone, and then the only thing left to do is the head. So in case you want to revisit the color combinations, as always, you can find them on my blog post. And in this case, there aren't many of them. In total, I think 11 markers for this tiny image, and if you want to, you can limit it even, because I did the skin tone with 4 markers and there aren't, well, the area is really small, so you can also do that with 2 or 3 markers if you want to. I went for this teal blue color on the head of the gnome. I'm going to create a red balloon, so that way both colors will really pop on top of this card. Yeah. So I'm just making sure that I like the blend and the depth of my coloring. So if you need to, you can add multiple layers until you're happy. And then I took the Blueprints 26. It's a die that I bought, well, I think when it was released. But so far I hadn't figured out a design to use it, so I was really happy to use it finally today. And then as you can see here, the string of the balloon of course wasn't long enough, because originally the balloon was even off behind the head of the gnome. So in this case I just had to make it a tiny bit longer, so therefore I just used a black pen, and then I can start creating my shaker window. Oh no, before, inspired by the amazing design team member from My Favorite Things, I decided to add a few black splatters on top, because, well, it's really subtle but lovely, but I didn't want to cover my gnome or the sentiment, so I just masked it off. I also decided to do that with a piece of paper that I ripped myself, so that if the splatters were just on the edge of one of these pieces of paper, that it would still look a bit, well, a bit natural, if I can say it like that. So inspired by Carly, she is really amazing. I love her. She creates these clean and simple cards that are just mind-blowing. She's a genius. She is a card-making genius. So I really wanted to incorporate something that I learned from her, and from time to time she adds these black splatters and it draws the attention, but it doesn't distract too much. So therefore I did that. Now to go behind the balloon, I went with a piece of red cardstock. This one is the Poppy cardstock from Concord and 9, a really lovely red, but I decided to add a tiny bit of shadowing, so I ink blended a tiny bit of aged mahogany distress ink on the edge, and then I created my shaker window here. Therefore I'm using some heavy Doodle foam strips. They are really handy. Even in this case I had tons of space underneath and on the sides. On the top it was a bit smaller, but since they are this thin, you can really make lovely shakers with it, even in areas where you don't have a ton of room to add some foam or foam tape. Now to not forget how I wanted my shadow to be, I snipped off this red panel, which wasn't that smart because it wasn't covering the whole shaker part, but I just decided to add it and then make it a bit bigger by adding a piece of white cardstock before removing all of the tape and adding my sequin. So now I have a piece that will cover the sticky edges of my tape here on the back, so I can remove the backings. It goes really simple. Sometimes the backings are really hard to remove, then you can use a craft knife or tweezers or anything like that, but in this case these foam strips really are super handy just to remove, so don't worry about that. And then I just added some more adhesive roller here on the back of this white piece, and then I could add it all on top of my card base. And this will actually be my card. You can add embellishments if you want to, but it was for the clean and simple genius category, so I ended up not doing that. Those black splatters were just what I needed. I really love how it turned out and that I finally could use this stunning balloon die. So I hope that you enjoyed this video and that this card might inspire you as well to just enlarge one of the parts maybe of your image that you want to use if you can, and just have fun with it. Thank you so much for being here. I wish you all an incredible day, and I'll be back soon with some new crafty inspiration. Bye!